Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the page and the YouTube channel. My name is Tumika Hankaman, and this is my page and YouTube channel, The Untitled Princess, where we're talking about everything that has to do with mental illness. We're basically tapping into our emotions in order to determine what has brought us here. Why are we suffering from mental illness? I just want to say welcome back to the old people that have been here and watching the videos, and welcome to the new people that have joined in the last 2 weeks. You are welcome, and I hope you will relate to the content that I release here where anxiety and tapping into a little bit of emotion is concerned. I hope you'll relate, and I hope you'll share the videos with your friends who might not know this channel exists, to share it with everyone. You don't know who is going through what and who we can potentially help. So now that the welcomes are out of the way, as you can see, I'm back in bed. I am shooting in the other room, so please bear with me if there is a noise, because the other room is actually closer to the road, so there's cars up and down all the time. I'm not in my room today, and I think I just needed a change of scenery and all that. So just a disclaimer to the new people and the old people, in case you have forgotten, I am not a psychiatrist. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a doctor or anyone who has been trained to deal with mental illness. I'm purely someone who was diagnosed with anxiety in March of 2019, and I've been walking my journey and trying to heal, trying to navigate this life with anxiety. So please do not take anything that is being discussed on this page as this is it. You still need to do your own responsibilities, which is going to the doctor and getting the diagnosis, which is actually going for counseling in order to determine what underlying issues could potentially be contributing to your mental illness. And thirdly, you need to identify the patterns and what is potentially triggering any panic attacks or any anxious feelings, basically. Cool. So I've been away I didn't shoot for 2 weeks, I think. And remember, I had said I was going to shoot videos on Fridays. So currently in my complex, there is construction happening. So it's usually very loud. And like around 4 when they leave, I'm generally feeling very tired and just, unwinding from the week. So I figured, okay, maybe Fridays I'm going to really work out. The only times they will work out is if it's raining, because then they're not working. But I won't stick to a date. Like, if I can shoot on a Saturday, I'll shoot. If I can shoot on a Sunday, I'll shoot. Like, let's just see how it flows. Let me not put any commitments. And I've been away because I've been feeling very fatigued. I'm very tired. Let me put it that way. Not emotionally, just physically. I'm tired physically. And it just feels like it's been a really, really long year. I know we're only in May. And I don't know if a part of that is because we're working from home. So you don't really have that separation between your work and your personal life. Like, it's an all-in-one combination. And I do find myself working quite more hours and working on weekends even more. At least like when you were going into office, you come back and you just breathe fresh air, which is fresh air from your house. But now, like, it's all in one. But yeah, I've been feeling quite tired, and there's a lot of things I'm trying to do at the moment, where career wise, trying to work really hard for the next step of my career, trying to mentor people into the accounting profession. There's quite a bit. So I'm just like, okay, maybe I did take on quite a bit. I don't know. Maybe I just need leave. And yeah, I don't know when I'm going on leave. I think I'm going on leave only in October. So that is not really something to look forward to either. So that's what's been happening with me. And as usual, I keep doing some, just to sit and think and be like, where are we headed? with the Anxiety Princess page? I really don't know. You know, the numbers are growing a little bit on YouTube. I've been concerned about the viewing in terms of the number of people that are viewing the videos on Facebook. It has gone down. I don't know why, whether it could be that maybe the videos are too long. I don't know, but we'll try to keep it short. But as I had said, my purpose was one, if one person relates, I'm happy, of which is basically been what is happening. Like every time I think I'm gonna stop, someone convinces me otherwise, in the sense that not that they tell me don't stop, in the sense that someone would send me a message and be like, wow, I can relate, wow, and then I'm like, oh, okay, then there's no point in stopping, because I'm basically restoring a little bit of hope in someone's life. So let's see how it goes. So that's basically the admin portion of things. I will try to keep this video very short. And the topic that we're discussing today is just, I've been getting quite a lot of questions with regards to how I manage my anxiety, and the whole thing of being on medication. I don't think people know that I'm on medication, but I think I've preached this in quite a few videos that I am on medication. So I took a decision to go on antidepressants. So I'm just going to share a little bit of how I feel, how they make me feel, the do's and the don'ts when you're on medication, and things to take into consideration where medication is concerned. So there is a video, which I think is video number 3 or number 4, where I basically tackle some of the myths around antidepressants. So now what I'm basically sharing is just my whole experience of how it made me feel and what made me decide to go on medication, so that you can make a very informed decision. Cool. So as I was going through everything that I was going through from March of 2019, when I had my first panic attack, and I continuously had to go to doctors, the minute I was told that there is nothing physically wrong with me, I didn't like how I was feeling. I was constantly sick, and it was the kind of sick that was, I am feeling very anxious about things that I didn't even know. I was getting headaches, I was getting dizzy, and things like that. So I was prescribed Xanax. No, not Xanax first. I was prescribed this medication. I'm not sure if I'm gonna say it right. I think I'm gonna butcher the name. It's profonolol or something like that. Profonolol. It's something along those lines. But basically, this medication is to prevent a heart attack. Right? So I got prescribed the medication on a Friday, right? And by the Sunday, I was off the medication. Cool. I took the medication, and yes, it did subside. I felt a little bit better considering the way I had been feeling in the past. So I took the medication. However, I noticed that by the Sunday, I was feeling very dizzy, and feeling very dizzy as if I'm going to collapse, right? And I called my doctor and I told her how I was feeling, and she said I need to go to the nearest pharmacy and take my blood pressure. And if my blood pressure, she suspects that it's making my blood pressure very low, hence the way I was feeling. And when I went to the pharmacy to take my blood pressure, actually it was really low. So I had to stop the medication immediately. Cool. So that was the first one. And then the second, so after that, the second medication to prescribe me was Xanax. So Xanax is not a long-term thing, guys. Xanax is very addictive. So I would honestly not recommend it as your long-term solution or as your medication of choice. Xanax knocks you out. I took Xanax and I couldn't keep my eyes open, and the next day I'd wake up with headaches. Cool. Then the Xanax wasn't a daily thing. The Xanax was for when I experience a panic attack. So as soon as I take the Xanax, I immediately calm down. So Xanax, she usually prescribed me 7 for a whole month. Because I basically had panic attacks twice a week. So every time I'd have a panic attack, I'd take a Xanax, I calm down immediately. Cool. But then I needed something long term because we've tapped into everything. I've done all the medical tests you can possibly think of, and it came down to the fact that no, you're actually suffering from anxiety because there is nothing physically wrong with you. So I did my research with regards to antidepressant, and I was reading the most horrific negative things, the side effects and all that. But because I didn't like how I was feeling on the daily, sat down with my now husband and I explained to him, like, I need something long term because this thing is taking away the little bit of joy that I have. Because I didn't want to go out, I didn't want to do anything, I just wanted to be in bed. And I constantly felt sick because anxiety it mimics anything and everything. I felt sick to my stomach that I was constantly waking up with headaches. I was feeling dizzy. I was feeling as though I'm going to pass out. And all these things that you can think of, which even if you take a pill for a headache, it didn't help. Because it's not that you're sick. I don't know how to explain it. But the physical symptoms of anxiety that are making you feel as though you're sick will never kill you. That's the only comforting facts I can give you where that is concerned. So I was like, okay, cool. At that time, I had a friend, one of my best friends. She was also going through anxiety and she was prescribed medication. So I had a chat with her. She told me the kind of medication she's on and how it's making her feel and things like that. So at my next doctor's visit, I spoke to my doctor and I told her, I think I'm ready for a long-term solution. And she explained to me that it's not really a long-term solution. It's something that is meant to control the physical aspect of mental illness. Okay. So with that said, she prescribed me sertraline. She put me on 100 milligram of sertraline, which you take daily. And the 2 weeks I took the medication and I think I was on leave for a week. Oh, this thing is tight. So I think I was on leave for a week when I started my medication because of the side effects in the first 2 weeks. They are unbearable, guys. I will not lie to you. So I took the sertraline. I started on 100 milligram for 2 weeks, and then post that she reduced my dosage to 50 milligram, which is basically what I've been on for the past 2 years up until today. So I took the medication because I have exhausted all other possible avenues and I just didn't like how I felt, how I was always sick. So I needed something. So with me, it's just that I couldn't fight it the natural way. I just couldn't, and I didn't want to. That's basically my decision for going on medication. So the next question is, how did it make me feel? It took away my power. I will not lie. Like every time I wake up and I have to pop that pill next to my bed, every time my script runs out and I need to go to the doctor for the doctor to write me a script, I just want to cry because my life now is I depend on it to control each and everything that is happening with my life. It took away the little bit of power I had over my anxiety. But when I look at the power I had over my anxiety when I was not on medication, I didn't really have any. I didn't have any because I had resorted into sleeping, into being in bed the whole time. But now, with the help of the medication, I can function out there. I can go out and do things. Like, it's much more controlled. That's basically what I'm saying. So, for me, I think I'm regaining control in other aspects of my life, which means I have a little bit of power with my anxiety, and also opposed to just focusing my attention on the fact that I'm on medication. It took away a sense of freedom, but there's so much more I've gained since I've been on the medication. Do you get it? So for me, I don't let the fact that I'm on medication be a determining factor of how much power I have. I have so much more power thanks to the medication. I honestly, you need to choose the kind of battles you're fighting. And for me, being on medication and weighing the fact that it's taking away my power is really like, it was a temporary emotion at that point, but how much power did I have when I wasn't on medication? I didn't have any, because I didn't have a solution. That's that. Cool. So with that being said, now the rest of the video will just be focused on things you need to consider if you are planning on going on medication. So now you've taken a decision that you want to go on medication, but you need a little bit of surety and your last checklist of what to do and what not to do. The first thing that I would say, if you have made a decision that you're going to go on medication, I think you need to discuss that option with your doctor, because there's a wide range of medication that is out there. There's a post that I have on Facebook with regards to the type of medication that you can go on, your SSRIs, which is your sertraline, your benzos, which is your Xanax. There's a wild range of medication you can go on. So you need to talk to your doctor about where are you guys starting. But I am not a doctor or anything, but I will personally say that I think stay away from the benzos. Stay away from the benzos as your long-term solution. Your benzos is your Xanax. Those are the ones that have more of an addictive nature to it. So if your doctor puts you on benzos, can you have a proper and open conversation with regards to the addictive side of the pills, how it will work? Will it be a daily thing or as and when is needed? So you need to be very strict on yourself if you are going on the benzo side of things, basically. Cool. The second thing you need to do is you need to do your own research with regards to the type of medications that are there and with regards to dosages. So dosages basically is, I'm on 50 milligram. There's 100 milligram. There's a 25 milligram. There's 5 milligram, I think. There's 150. There's 200. I think 200 is the max on sertraline. I am not 100% sure. Like I said, I'm not a doctor, but I think 200 is for the extreme case. So obviously your dosage is according to how much your body can handle and how severe your anxiety is. So I started on 100, but it was very strong because after 2 weeks I still had the side effects. That's why we then decided to drop it to a 50 to reduce the side effects. So if I was on the 50, so basically when you start medication, it's a trial and error with your doctor. So you need to pay very important attention to your body in order to identify, when I was on 100, this is how I felt. When I was on a 50, this is how I felt. Until you guys find the right dosage you should be on. So guys, mental illness requires you to pay attention. You need to pay attention to your body and the different changes your body goes through in order for you to master the art of living with mental illness. Okay, cool. So when I say do research on the type of medication, don't go to your doctor now and be like, I read, and when I say with research, there's so much things on the internet. So there would be people that are posting about their own experiences with the medication. There would be articles that are teaching you about the medication. I would say lean on to the articles about the kind of medication as opposed to the experiences people have had. Remember, don't take people's experiences as your own. You don't know how it's going to treat you. So just do research with regards to the kind of medication that is available, so that at least when your doctor is bringing up these things, you say, okay, in this publication I read that these are the side effects. So you at least informed about the kind of medication. Like I did my research enough for me to know that benzos were addictive. Do you get me? So when I was put on it, it didn't need to be a full-on thing that now I have a prescription of a whole month for Xanax kind of thing. So do your research in terms of the dosages, in terms of the type of medications that are out there, so you can have a proper conversation with your doctor. Cool. Third thing is take time off work. What do I mean by that? The side effects that I had were so severe that there was no possible way I could have been functioning in my role at work and paying attention to the side effects. I had some form of a diarrhea. My anxiety spiked out of control. I couldn't sleep. I had anxiety. I had insomnia. I had a headache. I had chest pains. I was feeling dizzy, and all those. I lost my appetite, and all those things. And I think I took a week off work when I started my medication, and so that really helped. So the second week I was back at work, but I was still having the side effects, but they were bearable. So I do advise, if you have the means to take time off work, take a few days while you transition into the medication so that you can just pay attention to your side effects and things like that. And it doesn't mean just because I had such severe side effects, that's what's going to happen to you. Some people actually just have 2 or 3 side effects and that's it. So I do suggest that you take a little bit of time off work. Cool. 4, I think you need to discuss the decision to go on medication with your support structure, right? So there's these people that are basically helping you now. You haven't gone on medication. They're there when you're having an anxiety attack and things like that. When you go on medication, I do suggest that you speak to them, because the first couple of weeks, it's going to be harsh. It's going to be rough. Your mental illness, your panic attacks are going to spike out of control. So you need a good support structure to do the things that you can't do. You basically feel weak. It's like you're going through a treatment for a terminal illness that it just, when they say things get bad before they get worse, it's that kind of vibe. So you need people to support you the best way possible. Something is funny is happening into this room. I think the light keeps coming in and then it disappears. I hope the lighting won't be messed up when I post the video, but if it is messed up, it's because this room is directly against the sun. So I think because the weather is really funny, the sun keeps popping up and so just bear with me. Okay. And then I think the next thing is that you need to allow the medication to work. Okay. So you can't, generally they say you start feeling the benefits of being on medication from 6 to 8 weeks. I think I felt it in 4 weeks. I think I felt it in 4 weeks because I remember where did I go? I feel like we traveled, me and my husband, and I could feel better about it. I can't remember, but I think generally in 4 weeks I could feel the old me coming back. I could feel me being less anxious when I go to the shops and things like that. So generally they say 6 to 8 weeks, and then if after the 8 weeks you're still not feeling the benefits, then you need to discuss that with your doctor. Then it could potentially mean that kind of medication you're on is not the right medication for you. Please do not take medication for a week and you're like, I'm not feeling the benefits. Allow the medication to work. So generally the time frame is 6 to 8 weeks. Discuss that with your doctor, that if after a certain period I'm not feeling in any sort of way, how much time should I give it before I come back and we look at other options. So for me, it was 6 to 8 weeks. I could feel the benefits in 4 weeks. So I knew that maybe sertraline was the way for me to get it. Cool. The next thing is to take your medication daily. When you decide to go on antidepressant, guys, it's not a as and when. It's not a as and when. It's a full-time commitment that requires you to take your medication on a daily. So I generally take my medication the first, like as soon as I open my eyes, I look at the time, and usually it will be around 7 a.m. I take my medication. Right. And I did get into a little bit of a, it's easier here because I put my medication my next to my side table, so every time I wake up it's there, it's looking at me, and I take it and I drink it. I generally forget when I'm at home in the Eastern Cape, because I don't like leaving the medication on the side of the table because there's kids in the house. So I generally forget, and then my body reminds me actually that you haven't taken your medication, because I start feeling very dizzy and things like that. So I generally know that I haven't taken my medication, and as soon as I click that I haven't taken my medication, I take it immediately. The reason why I'm saying you need to take your medication daily is because there's side effects to you tapping, like to you stopping your medication cold turkey. And sort of, it's not withdrawals, because antidepressants are not addictive. It's not withdrawals, but your body almost reverts back to how it felt, to how you were. So you start generally feeling the physical symptoms you felt before you were on medication. So there's that element of it. So take your medications daily, and try, especially when you're starting out, I would say just set an alarm for you to remind yourself to take your medication, or just put them in a place where you generally not gonna forget. And if you're someone who takes vitamins daily, maybe just put them with the vitamins, so that when you take the vitamins, they there. For me now, it's just a culture. Like, I pop my pill and I take it, and that's it. Done. Cool. And then the next thing, I would say, discuss the script with your doctor. So I get my script for 6 months. I think when I was in Ireland, I got it for 3 months, I think. And here I get it for 6 months. So I go to my doctor that I go to when I'm sick, and he prescribes 6 months for me. And then I take it to the pharmacy nearby me. And every month, then I start to check how many pills I have. And generally, when I have 2 pills, it's either I go fetch it or ask my husband to go fetch it for me. And they tell you at the pharmacy when you're on your last, what do you call it? When it's the last time for you to take the pill, and then you need to go back with a new script. The reason why I say maybe discuss the script, I honestly think if it's possible, like, your doctor can prescribe you a longer prescription, because the pharmacy is not going to give you 6 months worth. Do you get me? So it's controlled. Your doctor can script it and you give it to your pharmacist, and your pharmacist will give you on a monthly basis. Because there is a daunting thing that is attached to taking medication on a daily. It's called a pill fatigue. It's exhausting, that trip to the doctor to write the script, that trip to the pharmacy to collect the medication. At least now, if on a monthly you just have the pharmacy, I think it becomes bearable. But when you are someone who is on chronic medication, let me just put anxiety in the chronic space for now. When you are someone who's taking the medication on a daily, it's exhausting, guys. And it reminds you of the struggle that you're going through. So I think if there is a way that you can eliminate some of the steps on a monthly basis, then do so. Your doctor can write you a script for 6 months, and your pharmacy then monitors the 6 months that you get it on a monthly basis. And this is where you rely on your support structure. I can't remember the last time I went to the pharmacy to fetch my medication. My husband does it for me, and it makes it so much easier that I have the support structure who makes sure I'm shielded from the emotions of going to the pharmacy to take medication. So your role will just to be monitor your pills, that you're not running out of your pills. Do you get it? And I already know after the 10th of every month that I'm due for my next pill. I think my pills ran out on the 14th. So every month I know that by the 14th, I need to have new pills. And then I tell my husband, can you please go collect my medication? Cool. And then the last thing that I just want you to note is that do not stop your medication cold turkey. Chat to your doctor. So, antidepressants are not addictive. But when you stop them, we'll call it withdrawals now, but it's not withdrawals. But basically, your body almost reverts back to how it was until it figures out how not to be like that again. But let's say me, who's on 50 milligram, when I stop my medication, I can't just stop flat out. So I'll basically drop my dosage to 25, drop it to 10, drop it to 5 until I don't need it. So basically your body needs to adjust first before it can actually learn how to function on its own. So if you are on 150, you need to go down to 100, 75, 50, all the way down. When you stop the medication cold turkey, guys, the symptoms, they flood back. Your panic attacks, they get even worse. Like it becomes such a horrific step in your journey. Yes, you become fine, but I don't know why you'd want to put yourself in that torture of feeling that way, whereas you can just gradually decrease your dosage in order for your body not to take the knock in that manner. But obviously I can't speak too much to this because I haven't stopped my medication since starting. And remember, I did say I wanted to tap out of my medication this year, but I just haven't been brave enough to do it yet. And I did say I'll take you guys on a journey when I tap off, but I'm not ready. I work ridiculous hours, so I can't do that now. I think maybe when things at work towards the end of the year, October, November, I think I'll start looking into it and just see how I feel about it. At least then I'll be going on holiday, so I can work with how I'll feel at that point. So those are the do's, the things that you need to consider if you are planning on going on medication. And then just reminders. I jotted down some reminders for you just to end the video. Basically, medication is not a permanent fix. Don't think now because you're going on medication, you're going to feel 100% afterwards. I feel probably 70%. And that's a big number. I promise you, that's a big number because I was feeling 5% before I went on medication. So it's not a permanent solution. It is something that is there to help you manage the symptoms of anxiety, manage the symptoms of panic attacks. I'm less anxious. It doesn't mean that I'm not anxious. There are things that spike up and I need to do my breathing exercise and everything. It does not mean I don't get panic attacks anymore. I do get them, but they're not as severe as they were. The one thing that I still get every day is headaches, but I generally had headaches before I was someone who had headaches before I even had my first panic attacks. So basically, it's not a permanent solution. It's something to help you deal with some of the physical aspects of what you're going through. Cool. 2, the side effects are normal, even though they could be severe. So if you having the side effects, remember I had the side effects for 2 weeks. There are people who have it for 6 weeks. They're normal. As long as you're allowing the medication that time to rule out whether it's working or not, you could have side effects. You could have side effects up until the last day of that 8 weeks, and then the next day you wake up feeling fine. So they're totally normal, and discuss them with your doctor. They can prescribe you things to help you supplement some of it. I think I was prescribed something for my headaches. What was it called? I don't know. I still have those pills, but I don't like them because they make me feel sleepy. So they will prescribe you things to help you deal with some of the side effects. But guys, remember, I always need to remind you of this. When you go on medication, it needs to be a disclaimer everywhere you go, especially where other medication is concerned. There is some medication that antidepressant doesn't go hand in hand with. So when you go to the pharmacy with a cold, you need to say, by the way, I am on this antidepressant, so that they can prescribe you medication that you can take with your antidepressant. It needs to be a tune that you sing every time you go to the doctor, you go to the pharmacy, so that they can prescribe you the medication that you can take with antidepressant. Then second last thing is medication reaction vary from one person to another. Don't use people's experience as your own. You're going to read horrific things online. You're going to read people saying it didn't help me, it didn't do this, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's what's going to happen to you. So you need to walk your own experience and your own journey with medication in order to determine what was the experience for you. Okay, and then the last thing, it does not take away your power, guys. Stop lying to yourselves that you don't want to depend on it. You don't want to do this. You don't want to depend on it, but you stuck in your house because you can't go out, because you're scared, because you're anxious. So basically, anxiety is having all the power. Like, the minute I switched to saying that this thing is actually giving me a little bit of back of my power, I felt so much better, because now I can do so many things like I couldn't do before I was on medication. So it does not take away your power. I think anything that takes away your power is because you're allowing it to take away your power. So please, the only thing I wish you can take away from this video is discuss your options with your doctor. That is very, very, very important. Discuss with your doctor what is your plan when it comes to medication. So I hope this video will help. And to those people that have been asking, how do I cope with my mental illness, besides doing my breathing techniques and every other thing that I've been taught where mental illness is concerned, I take medication. That is something that is helping me. So I hope this video will help you to make some form of informed decision. Please, please, please don't let your journey of whether you take medication or not be determined by someone else's experience. Walk your own journey, tell your own story, live your life the way you are meant to live your own life, not how other people are living theirs. I hope you'll have a beautiful Sunday with your family. Enjoy, keep warm, and all those cute things. But love you all. Bye.